What up, YouTube? Lindsay here, your host for episode 6 of Living Well. Thank you for tuning into the show today. I'm very excited about our guests for today. We have Travis Standing. He currently has the number 4 song in the country on the country music charts. So we're going to catch up with him, see how he is doing his quarantine, as well as we talk to Dr. Jake Hyde, the first doctor on the show ever. We're going to specifically talk to him about sleep and how we can improve our practices so that we can get better sleep. I have been struggling over getting sleep over the past few months, and Dr. Jake Hyde has been significantly helping me with those things. So let's get into the show. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up if you can, and write down in the comments what you want to see for next week. Enjoy. Hi guys, how's it going? Happy week 10, 11, I don't know, where are you all in your quarantine? It's day 63 for me, not that I'm counting, guys, not that I'm counting. I hope you're wearing your sweatpants. Welcome to episode 6 of Living Well. I'm so excited about our guest today, as well as I have a song that a lot of you were requesting. I'm gonna play later. But guys, we're getting through this thing together. It is the middle of May. Who would have thought? My goodness. Thank you all so much for coming to hang out with us. So let us bring on our first guest. There he is. Look at that. Right on time. Really embarrassing bio while he comes on. American country music singer-songwriter from Warner Robins, Georgia. You may know him from his singles. Wow, look at those glasses.
Woo!
Let me finish reading this embarrassing bio.
Yes.
Well, embarrassing for you, but wonderful for me. You may know him from his singles, David Ashley Parker from Powder Springs, and his current top 10 hit, After a Few. He is also an incredible guitar player. We played so many shows together, a dear friend, and I'm just such an all-around fan of him with the coolest glasses whatsoever. I knew he was going to make us laugh. Please welcome everybody, Mr. Travis Standing.
Good to be here. How you doing there? Oh Lord, I'm laying up on my bed, obviously. How you doing? I'm doing good here.
I'm doing so good, dude. How are you doing? How is your quarantine going?
Oh, it's going. I mean, just been kind of trying to stay creatively busy, keep those wheels moving, writing some songs, and obviously live streaming and all that. We just put out an EP on Friday, which was super exciting.
I know. Beer's Better Cold. Congratulations. Your debut EP. This is your first ever, right?
Yes, it is. And this beer is better cold for sure.
Amen to that. Look at that. He's a man of his word.
I'm also proud that at 8 o'clock at night, I'm on Eastern time right now. That's my first beer I've had today, which is
so proud of you.
That's a big departure in quarantine hours for me. They've usually been being cracked a little earlier during the day. Yeah.
Quarantine, I just think there are no rules. I mean, we just need to be kind to ourselves and just let ourselves live life how we need to live life.
It's like an airport. It's kind of like it can be 7:30 in the morning. You're in your PJs. You're having a cold beer with like a cupcake. It doesn't matter.
Fries. Yeah,
and fries.
Like a casino. You never know what time it is. You can't see out windows, so it may be 5 o'clock. It may be 8 a.m. Who knows?
Exactly.
Well, I'm proud of you. Okay, so your debut EP. Did you consider postponing the release of this EP, given the quarantine, or was this always scheduled to be last Friday, and you guys were just like, we're gonna stick with the plan?
It was always scheduled there, and we wanted to stick with the plan. I mean, for me, and obviously the news came out today that our summer tour plans with Sam Hunt have been canceled. I mean, I think a lot of people kind of, saw that coming, and it sucks. But for me, I saw this as an opportunity I feel like people right now want new music more than ever. I mean, because dude, we're all sitting here. I mean, not only is it just boring, but it's like, I mean, it's kind of taxing on you. I mean, it's taxing on your your soul and your brain, and just to not really have answers to questions that we're asking every single day. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
For me, music has been a big part of getting out of that mindset. And so I just hope that, that these 6 songs can kind of help people escape when they hear them right now. So for me, it felt like it was more important than ever to release that music.
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like art can always be released. I'm working on my album and we're going to release it in a few months. And I agree. Like quarantine shouldn't stop that stuff.
I
So
mean,
you say what?
I said, and we've already had conversations now. We're, just based off of what's going on. I'm like, man, I'm already game planning the next release because I
No.
think it's important to just keep putting music out right now.
I know, me too. Normally we're zigzagging around the country and on the road so much. I've been writing so much. So I'm like, I need to release this album because by the end of the year, I'm going to have written another album that I'm going to be ready to release next year. So
Exactly.
we just need to keep that music coming. Okay. So you say you're on Eastern time. Did you go straight to Kentucky? Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Kentucky. I'm at Madison's folks' place.
Amazing.
I've been in Nashville like a little bit. I'll be back in Nashville for good, probably like June 1st ish. It's just we've just had a lot of fun up here. I mean, stretching our legs out. They're out in the country, so we got room to run around and have fun. And it's just been better than being held up in the little house in East Nashville right now. So it's been fun, having a good time. And of course, there's 2 cats here. One's a little kitty and 2 dogs. I mean, there's something going on at all times of the day.
Well, I do not blame you one bit. I would say stay there as long as you can. So your beautiful girlfriend, Madison, how did you guys meet?
We met at Losers.
No, you didn't.
Oh, heck
Losers, for the non-Nashvillians on here, is a bar in Nashville that like a lot of musicians and songwriters go after they finish writing songs for the day.
And Losers is if you're having a night out on the town, it's usually your last stop. I mean,
it can be the first stop, and then it usually is the last stop.
It is it kind of bookends the whole night. But yeah, I saw her at. Are you bringing Millie to me? And we're gonna bring a special guest in here.
Oh my gosh, a special guest. Who is this?
This is Millie. This is the new kitty.
Millie. Madison, is that you?
She's and there's Madison.
Hi. How's it going? Millie, the new kitty. So how old is this kitty?
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
12 weeks. So excuse my ignorance, but a kitten isn't as much work as a new puppy, right?
No.
They kind of just know what to do a lot more than a puppy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm a dog guy at heart, but
Me too. I'm a dog guy at heart too.
Cats overall are just easier. I mean, they really are. I mean,
no,
you can leave a grown cat, for like a weekend, and as long as he's got food and a place to, do his business, he's good. I mean, so yeah, Millie's been good. She's rambunctious, but she's doing a good job. But yeah, no. So me and Madison met at Losers. I saw her with a group of friends, and I actually one of the friends in that group was a mutual one. So I kind of went over there, and I was like, I'm going to talk to this pretty person here, and see what happens. And we were friends for, I guess, about half a year. We followed each other. She doesn't remember. She don't care. And
the rest is history.
Yeah, exactly. The rest is history.
That's amazing. Okay, now I'm sure you grew up listening to John Michael Montgomery. So to be able to meet him for the first time, that is also Madison's dad, by the way, for everybody listening. What was it like to meet him for the first time?
Honestly, it was pretty much right down the same line of meeting, your girlfriend's dad. I mean, it really wasn't anything other than kind of like, and I mean, obviously we talk about the business and music, and we've spent some time fishing during this quarantine, and if the rain will clear up, we're going to try and golf. And it is really awesome because, I mean, obviously he's recorded some of my favorite songs out there, but when I'm here, I'm Madison's boyfriend, and he's Madison's dad, and we got a great relationship. I mean, we love spending time, with each other and with her brother as well. I mean, me and Walker get along really well, and yeah, it's definitely cool. I mean, he's got some stories for days. He told me a story. It's one of my favorite things ever. He played a show with Buck Owens, and he said that Buck came up to him and was like, "Hey, I love your song 'Be My Baby' tonight." And he was like, and Buck was like, "Can I come up on stage when you play it and sing it with you?" And he was like,
What?
"Absolutely, yes, yes,
He's like,
yes."
I may be able to find room on the stage. I'll
Yeah,
figure it out. But
for I mean, Bakersfield finest, yes, you can come on, and they're just cool stories like that about all the legends in country music. He's got stories for days.
man, I love the Crystal Palace. We played there so many times. It's such a special room. Okay, your current single right now, After a Few, is currently #4 on the charts. Dude, congratulations, first off. That's a huge feat. I don't know if people truly understand how difficult it is to get a single that high up the charts, especially right now.
It's nuts. It's wild. It's just, and it's been such a crazy journey up to 4. And I mean, knocking on wood that we can go maybe three more slots up. But you're right. It's
Yeah.
so nuts, and I'm just so thankful.
Well, I have a really good feeling for it, and I'm praying for you. And I need to ask, if you do reach #1, how are you going to celebrate? Have you thought about this yet?
I really haven't thought about it. I mean, I'm sure I'll call a bunch of people, and I don't know though. I'm gonna try and maybe go fish. That'll probably be the best way that I feel like I can go. Just kind of spend a little time and think about everything it's taken to get to this point.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to reflect a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna get into some tequila. I mean, that's probably definitely gonna happen.
As you should. Well earned, my friend. So since you've been up in Kentucky, I've been asking everybody this question. What is your favorite room in your house? It can also be an outside room to spend in quarantine. Like, everybody's been staying safe and staying home. Where have you been hanging out?
Up here, I've been mainly hanging out in the barn. They've got a barn up here with a lot of different. I mean, literally, there's everything in there you could ever need. We've been doing some like woodworking stuff, and I built a little table, and then Walker, Mr. John, built a deck off of another barn building they got on the property, and so I've just been hanging up there trying to do some Bob the Builder kind of man stuff, and it's not going super well, but it's fun while I'm doing it. But yeah, and just I'd say that, and just guest bedroom. I go in there and play guitar and write songs. So the guest bedroom and the barn are like tied for where I've been the most.
Yeah.
And they've both been creative in different lanes. So it's been cool.
That's awesome. If I had a barn with cool things in it, I would 100% be hanging out in there. Look at everybody. Travis Denning does everything. He's a woodworker. He's a songwriter. He's at #4 right now on the charts. And he's also quite an accomplished guitar player. And for me to say that, I do not say those things lightly, because I do not say that about many people. I am a true guitar nerd myself. So who was the guitarist who got you into playing guitar, and why?
Well, I mean, it was Angus Young from AC/DC. I mean, the earliest I can remember, it was Angus. Really, the two guitar players throughout my whole career that have just constantly been the biggest influence, I would say, is Dwayne Allman and Derek Trucks. I mean,
Derek Trucks is my favorite guitar player on the planet.
Oh, he's the best guitar player on the planet. I
He
had a conversation with Joel Hutzel from Swindell's band.
Yeah.
And he said, Derek has to be the best slide player in the world. And I said, you can just take slide off of that sentence, man. I'm like, he is just he's on a whole different planet. I mean, and for me, I'm partial, I'm an Allman Brothers Band fanatic and a Southern rock fan. So both of them, obviously, huge parts of that band, huge parts of that culture and that music. So really, I mean, Angus got me started, and then Dwayne and Derek, kind of kept the bug bite going through all these years.
I'm so with you. I got to see Tedeschi Trucks a few months ago in LA for the first time. And like Derek Trucks' melody when he plays, It's pretty much like he's singing the guitar solo, but through his guitar. He's insane.
He reminds me of like an old 50s like church woman singing, like
Yeah, me
just
too.
some big old lungs. Yeah, just I mean, and
I
that's
know.
what he does. He sounds like that old like revival
Yes.
woman singing in a church, man. He does it right.
Okay, well, Travis and I could guitar nerd and geek out all day, but everybody go check out his debut EP, Beer's Better Cold. After a few, please download it, please request it, get that thing to number one. Let this boy go celebrate his first number one. Travis, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out.
Yeah, Lindsay, thank you so much. And hey, stay safe out there and keep shredding it up now.
I will. Hopefully we can jam or play a Instagram show together soon.
Hey, let's do it. Hey, I'll hit up Matt Stell and we'll do another pinned up.
Done. Love it.
Sounds good. See you, Lindsay. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Bye, Travis. He's so sweet. Man, that dude always makes you laugh so much. I've played so many writers' rounds with Travis Stanning, and he is just so funny. It's like a comedian and an incredible singer-songwriter in one body. Travis Stanning. Love that kid. He's so talented. All right. I'm very excited about our next guest, guys. This is the first doctor we've ever had on the show, as well as being a guitar nerd and a singer-songwriter and whatever, all the Pro Tools geek. I also am a huge health nut. Partly why I started this show from the beginning. I just love reading, researching, teaching myself as much as I can just about living well, hence the name, and just truly trying to reach whatever the epitome of health, or just reach a healthier state of your life. So I'm gonna bring on our next guest. I'm so excited. So excited. There he is, right on time. All right, while he comes on, I'm gonna read his bio for y'all. Dr. Jake Hyde. What up, Jake?
Hey, Lindsay.
How's it going? I'm gonna read a nice embarrassing bio for you.
Wait.
Doctor, chiropractor, and holistic healthcare provider. He completed his doctorate in Dallas, Texas, working at a personal injury office where he started thinking about concierge healthcare. This is focused more on what people need compared to what just insurance companies want to pay for. He founded Sozo Wellness, his company in West Palm Beach, Florida, and now resides in Nashville, Tennessee, focused on family care, non-force chiropractic techniques, and holistic nutrition, but also works with patients virtually around the world. Thanks for taking a few minutes to be here, Jake. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. This is such a cool show. It's so cool that you're doing this.
Thanks. It's like kind of a variety show. So I have my artist friends on. We talk about music. I just talk about positivity, things that are going well in this quarantine, weird parts of our lives. And I'm so excited you were the first doctor we've had on the show.
Well, that's a huge honor then for me.
First off, you and Kara, your beautiful wife, just welcomed a brand new baby. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I'd say that's like the predominant theme of what for most people is like a quarantine pandemic world. It's like sometimes it's easy to forget that that's going on because the energy is so focused at home. But thanks. It's been really an amazing, crazy experience.
I can just imagine. I say to all my friends who are having babies right now, they actually timed it perfectly because you're actually able to stay home more. I guess Nashville's starting to open up a little bit, but you guys timed this very well.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't seem like it at first, because it's like, well, we did at a birthing center, but it's very limited on who can go, who can show up. There's all these
Yeah.
restrictions suddenly, and you have these ideas of like how it's going to go perfectly. And then all of a sudden, all of your plans, well, not all your plans, but a good number of them are off the table and you have to be more adaptive. But you're right, there's always a bright side, and it was pretty easy to see once the baby was here, and it's nice to have really quiet, focused at-home time. And, as an entrepreneur, it's hard to get, you don't get PTO when you're not working.
Yeah.
It's you don't get any paid vacation. So it was nice. It was a good opportunity to just, surrender to what was going on in the world and then focus your attention with the family. So it has been a blessing in a very strange, roundabout, weird way. It's been good.
Absolutely. So, as much as you're probably not getting a lot of sleep right now, given your current situation, I have been going to see Dr. Jake Hyde for a little while now, and he has been significantly helping me with my sleep. So, I thought we could at least start. I mean, who knows where we'll go, but we could start with talking about sleep. I think a lot of people at the beginning of this quarantine may have been having trouble, kind of like me, for various reasons. But I have really enjoyed everything I've been learning from you, specifically related to how our body responds to stress and how that can in turn affect our ability to sleep.
Yeah, stress is a really important conversation, especially right now when people can be focused externally on, looking for external factors, say like a virus or an economy or something, to be like, this is why my health is the way it is. But it's really important to start from an inward out approach, right? So get kind of control of what is under your control before you spend so much energy on the uncontrollable factors, for the most part, right? And so when it comes to looking at sleep, there's a lot of different factors at play. And that's why you can have so many different opinions on why you would have something like insomnia, where you can't fall asleep, or like parasomnia, which is more common, which is you can fall asleep mostly because you're pretty exhausted, but you don't stay asleep well, or you're tossing and turning all night. And that's most people. And I've been through that for sure in my life. That's part of my health story as well. So a lot of different factors. So to make it easy when I'm teaching or coaching or consulting, you want to break it up into different areas. You can look at where can I improve? And so I look at areas where you have choice, right? So one is how you're moving your body, so how you're exercising, perhaps how you're not exercising, like how sedentary you are. That's been a big deal for people lately. We've been more stationary than most of us are accustomed to. And it's not that stressful to you, so you don't notice it right away, but it's been accumulative. And so I'm seeing it in the last few weeks. People's bodies aren't responding well to just, being on Zoom calls all day or being on their couch more than they're used to. So you can look at how you move your body, then you can look at how you feed your body, or you can just look at the biochemistry in general. So it's not just how you're feeding your body, which is important, but it's it's other biochemical interactions. So you could think like toxins in your environment, or a number of things. But so you're wanting looking at, okay, am I giving myself the nutrition that's necessary, or am I loading myself with things that are stressful to the body? And all these different categories you can look at as, is it a stress load? So am I positive? Everything's stressful, by the way. Any change that your body has to adapt to is technically a stress, but you can have good stress,
Right.
which in the textbook they would call eustress, or bad stress, which you could call distress. The point is, stress isn't the enemy. It's just unnecessary and unchecked stress can, and most often is, the enemy. So that's the way you look at eating too. If you want to look at food, it's like technically anything you put in your body is stressful. Your body has to deal with it. Once it's in your body, it's like, all right, now, like whether it's a healthy salad or an ice cream sundae, it still has to be adapted to. But you can look at, if you're eating the right things, your body adapts favorably. And if you're not, it can then be destructive and unnecessarily stressful to your system. So another choice you have is how you're breathing. A lot of people don't think of that as a choice because it seems involuntary. It's definitely a choice. You can breathe better, or you could breathe worse. And if you're letting it be more subconscious or involuntary, research shows most of us aren't breathing very well. So you're not properly oxygenating your body. And breathing is a really good way to communicate to your subconscious that you're okay. If you're taking deep, slow breaths, your subconscious, which is always trying to gauge your environment to be like, is there a potential threat to me in some capacity? If you're intentionally slowing down your breath and really breathing through your lungs, that is a way to communicate to your subconscious that you're safe for the moment. So breathing breaks are huge.
Yeah. Now, talk a little bit about the effects that cortisol, which is a stress hormone, can affect directly our sleep, specifically in the way that you were telling me how sometimes our bodies can get used to a fight or flight state. And instead of engaging a fight or flight state, we just get used to that kind of stressful atmosphere, that becomes our new normal. And when you think of trying to sleep
Yeah.
in that stressful state, it's like, good luck.
Okay, well that is a big topic, so we'll try to break it down. But the idea being, and what you're describing can be, in the textbooks called sympathetic dominance or maybe limbic system dominance. But the idea is you have really two modes of nervous system operation, and this is autonomic nervous system. So this is part of your nervous system you don't really think about. And it's really all about survival. Anything that's biological has been adapted to survive as well as it can. And so we intelligently allocate our energy, or you could say like the body's resources, to systems that are important to that perceived need in the moment, right? So we can have short-term survival, which would be fight or flight, right? That's like surviving the emergency, surviving the encounter. Or you can consider it long-term survival, which is your regulatory system. So think immune system, growth, repair, healing, digestion, sleep, reproductive health, things like that. So it's very important to note that your body is energizing and activating systems only important to one of those two perceived needs, right? You could say like health, or you could say stress. So your body's either in health mode or it's in stress mode. And one's not better than the other, even though, one probably sounds better. It's just about timing. You want to be in the right one at the right time, if that makes sense. The problem is, our environment's changed so quickly, and our nervous systems, haven't changed. Like, you don't have, biological evolution that happens that quickly. So there's a lot of stimulants in our environment, and there's a lot of experiences that could be flagged as a potential threat, all right? Mm-hmm. Instagram's a good example of that. Like, that's a new thing to our brains to deal with. Right. And the truth is, it doesn't have to be an actual threat. It doesn't have to be like a tiger in the room. Our subconscious isn't really aware of that, or doesn't distinguish between a tiger in the room or any perceived threat. That could be to, your physical body, but it could be to your ego as well. So emotions like shame, guilt, apathy, resentment, anger, all loneliness can all trigger your fight or flight mechanism. And so what happens is that mechanism, which used to be primarily just for running and fighting for our lives, has become somewhat normalized. So we don't even really know what it feels like. And that's the thing. I've heard other doctors say like normal is your nemesis right now, because the average person is sympathetic dominant or in fight or flight. And totally. Let's back to cortisol, right? What you asked about. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone, and it's not a bad guy by itself. It has really important roles. When it comes to running or fighting, what cortisol does is it spikes your blood sugar, right? It breaks down tissue, liberates stored glycogen into your bloodstream, so you could run, longer or fight a little bit longer. You have more energy. And it's also useful, it regulates your blood sugar in general. If you have a blood sugar crash, that's bad for your brain. So, cortisol can help regulate that a little bit. Now, the problem with that is like if you're secreting cortisol in the middle of the night, you're, unnecessarily spiking your blood sugar. And that can mess with sleep cycles, right? So you get into like this deep, like delta wave sleep when you're coming up towards REM sleep, which you still should be asleep. But if your energy levels are spiked a little bit, then you're going to get pushed into, awakened state. And that also makes sense if you're thinking about, for the most part, for most of human history, we didn't sleep behind locked doors with security systems. So we either knew we were sleeping in a safe space, and by that I mean we knew our community, our tribe, our people were looking out for us. No one was going to murder us in the night. No raiding parties were going to get in without some kind of alarm, right? No predatory animals getting in. So if you trusted your people, you could sleep deeply. But if you were like, in between, you're sleeping in nature, you want to be able to sleep with like one eye open, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So you have you have a way to sleep stressfully, which you can kind of sleep in fight or flight, which just makes you very alert to your environment. You could wake up to any sound, or you just, you can toss and turn all night. And that's fairly common for a lot of people. So one of the
Mhm.
answers, and we can talk about sleep hygiene, which is what you and I talked about the other day in my office. But
Yeah.
something maybe important to talk about to everybody is, you know, how do we feel safe before we close our eyes at night? And doesn't just mean, do I have a good security system in my home? It's, does my mind feel like I'm connected and that I'm looked after and that people care about me? And
Yeah,
so
when
that,
you told me like it's does my subconscious feel I'm safe? That resonated with me so much because it's like you're right. There's one thing to set your security system and lock your doors, and I live alone, and so it's like, okay, do I feel safe? But then can I make my mind feel like it's safe of all of these things that we're constantly juggling and thinking about to be able to like tell your subconscious mind that like, okay, I'm okay. Like I will figure out
Mhm.
all of those things in the morning.
So tricky game, because you can't really make your subconscious do anything, but you can influence it, right? So we
Mm-hmm.
talked about breathing. Very
Mm-hmm.
intentional breathing is a way to tell your brain like, hey, we're cool right now, everything's safe. But also changing the emotional state that you're in, because if you're going to bed dealing with some anger or resentment or fear or guilt or grief, then there's a decent chance that your mind's on high alert when you're trying to fall asleep. But if you can enter some higher like consciousness level thinking, better chance of sleeping. And it's not easy just to step into peace or to love or joy. But gratitude's pretty easy for everybody. And that's why gratitude is practiced widely in the health community as like gratitude journaling and things before bed, because if you're feeling grateful,
Mm-hmm.
physiologically speaking, you're not going to be feeling fearful. So that's an easy way to do
Totally.
it. But the long-term solution comes from deeper healing. All right, all those programs that tell you that the world's threatening, which comes from all past experiences, which comes from traumas, big and small. When you can go back, and this is kind of getting into your Carl Jungian, shadow work, like getting into the stuff you don't want to look at, or the stuff that's not easily accessible. And that's where the deeper
Yeah.
healing is. When you can go shed a light in there, process things that weren't processed in the past, then sleeping becomes significantly easier. And not just sleeping, digesting, your immune system, growth and repair, healing, reproductive health. It's got a lot of
Everything's
perks.
connected.
A lot of perks
Yeah.
to doing like the deeper work.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dr. Jake Hyde is a wealth of knowledge. He has an incredible blog on his website, which you can find linked on his Instagram page, as well as an amazing podcast that he does with his brother, which you guys should totally check out. It's so cool. Um, if you could leave people with like, let's say 3 things that they could do, let's say focusing on sleep hygiene
So we're just focusing
to
on
maybe
on
help them
sleep.
wind down before they go to bed at night, what
Okay,
would those things be?
3 tips for sleeping.
Yeah.
One's pretty general one, but it's to manage your stimulants. And famously, we know about like caffeine. You don't want quadruple shot before bed.
Totally.
At least most people don't. And if you can sleep with that, then you should probably reach out to me, because there's something else going on with your adrenals probably. But manage your stimulants, and there's a lot of ways to be stimulated, okay? So you have to look at lighting in your house. You want minimal lighting, like bare minimum lighting necessary.
Mhm.
You want to manage your entertainment. Like, you go ahead and watch your drama, your action movie, but like an hour before bed. And this isn't a rule for everybody. This is people that are struggling to sleep. You'd want to watch lighthearted things that aren't going to be stirring, right? That aren't going to be like ramping up any emotion other than,
Right.
just joy and happiness. You want it, and that's even movement too. I recommend people like no jerky movements. A jerky movement can spike your adrenaline in a smaller way, but still, you don't need to get your adrenals going before bed. Uh, that's one. So just stimulants, and there's a lot of different ways to be stimulated. Like I said, another one. This has got to be well, I'll save the most important one. The other one is, don't make sleeping more difficult. So one way to make sleeping more difficult is to give your body work to do while you're in bed. So like eating before bed.
Mm-hmm.
That includes drinking. For a lot of people, that's challenging for your body to process, especially drinking a lot. Now, I recommended a tip to you because I know you don't do those things. So
No.
another chance. So if you're like, I don't really eat before bed, you might have trouble balancing your blood sugar while you're sleeping. And like I said earlier, you might secrete a little cortisol to spike your blood sugar in the middle of the night so your brain doesn't go into a coma, basically.
Right.
And if your adrenals are fried because you've been stressed a lot, then you might actually be secreting adrenaline instead of cortisol, and that's going to put you into a wide awake space. So if you're waking up in the middle of the night and you're wide awake, that's probably adrenaline. And if you're waking up minimally, not super wired, but awake, that's probably cortisol. If you have a blood sugar issue, this isn't everybody, but if you do a little bit of honey, like a teaspoon of honey before bed, what that does is just boost your liver glycogen, which is going to be a slower release. Like, don't have like a handful of Skittles, so that'll be like quick release. But if you have honey, that'll be a slower release of blood sugar. And that's for like healthy people. That's not a tip probably for everybody. But one tip is, don't eat a meal before bed. Your body's going to be up doing work all night.
Mm-hmm.
And the third tip, the most important tip, is I want to say you got to manage your thoughts before you're hitting the pillow. And that's true for the people that wake up in the middle of the night. You need to have a go-to thing to think about, or a handful of things, so your mind's not wandering to your problems. Okay, so something I gave you, if you don't mind me sharing, is a thought curfew, right? Because it's easy for you to be up at night thinking about your album, thinking about what's not perfect, what could be better. And the truth is, a lot of my favorite artists that don't sleep until a song's finished. And so if you want to be, like a Tom York of the world and just like be this troubled artist, then be up all night. That's fine. I appreciate those artists too. But if you want to get a good night's sleep, you got to say, an example I used for you, I think, was you wouldn't let your manager call you at 3 a.m. and be like, hey, Lindsay, did you finish this project? Have you thought about this? What are you doing about this? You'd be like, this could wait till 8 or 9 or 10 in the morning. And that's just true. So why would you let your like little internal manager kind of dictate your thoughts in the night? You can get control. And so I recommend thinking about things that are entertaining enough to keep you somewhat preoccupied, but aren't like ramping up the problem solving engine.
Yeah. So I need to figure this out now, and I don't know the answer.
So I think about like good fiction. I'll think about movies because I really like movies. So I'll just think about something like that where it's like, if I could try and recall it as best by memory. And that worked for me when I was having trouble sleeping. That's not going to work for everybody, but it's the idea of counting sheep. It's like an activity to do that's not going to ramp up the problem solving machinery in your head. Because that's like, I noticed one thing for me, I was reading like self-help books before bed.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize is that's essentially work for me. You know?
Yeah, me too.
And
that's
so
a lot of what I read. And when you read that stuff, it just gets you thinking.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about myself, obviously, but I'm thinking about family. I'm thinking about clients. I'm thinking about everybody. And so like reading before bed's got to be like just pure philosophy, like old school philosophy books, or, good fiction or something. But that's true for your thoughts too. So I always know what I'm going to think about before my head hits the pillow. So I don't just let it wander to what I didn't do that well that day, things I got to fix tomorrow, family problems or whatever. So I think that's the number one tip. Give yourself a sleep
Dr.
curfew.
Jake Hyde, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day. I know your life is crazy right now with a newborn. Everybody has just been saying like, this is amazing. This is so helpful. Like all the comments have been amazing. So guys, make sure to go over to Jake's Instagram page, check out his podcast, check out his blog, reach out to him if you're interested in learning more. He's literally a wealth of knowledge about so many things, and it's like changing my life in the process. So,
and would love to hear from you. So don't hesitate. You can reach out.
Jake, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for being a gift to everybody and all your followers. Positivity is a great thing to be spread around right now.
It really is. It really is. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Okay. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Isn't he so smart? Guys, he literally is, man, of course, changing the way I sleep, but just, it's amazing when you can really study what's going on in your body and like figure it out, like know what's going on. Okay, guys, now it is time for standby. The Wellisms of the week. Sharing positivity. Our sound person's a little bit delayed today. Let me turn this up here. There we go. Sound guy's on it. Wellisms of the week. Sharing positivity, things going well in this crazy quarantine. Okay, first Wellism of the week. The Four Seasons Hotel in New York City has shifted from a high luxury hotel to offering free rooms to healthcare workers. This has allowed some workers to remove their 2-hour commute to the hospital every day, or given a safe place for workers to stay that have immune compromised people in their family. Isn't that awesome? Thank you. The Four Seasons. Can you imagine if you were a doctor working in New York for COVID and you got to stay at the Four Seasons for free? That's amazing. So cool. Okay, I really like this one. An 8-year-old Labrador named Moose has spent the last 6 years at Virginia Tech as a therapy dog and an ambassador for mental health awareness. On Friday, he received an honorary doctorate in veterinary medicine. Look at Moose! Look at Moose! Yes! Look at him. Honorary doctorate. Look at that. Therapy dog. So cute. Okay, third Wellism of the week. A New Hampshire mailman has been leaving a card and a Dunkin' Donuts gift card for new graduates on his route. He was noticing the congrats graduate signs on his routes, and he wanted to lift the spirits of graduates who can't go to prom, can't fully celebrate their graduation. He has handed out at least 25 gift cards on his route, and he keeps more with him just in case he sees more signs. That's so cool. What a good mailman. See, there's so many good people in our world, guys. So many good people. Okay, last Wellism of the week. I can't even talk, guys. 24,000 adults aged 20 to 44 with no underlying health risks have signed up for the One Day Sooner campaign. This campaign helps volunteers for the HCT, the Human Challenge Trial, to assist in the development of a novel coronavirus vaccine. Accelerating the development of vaccine by 1 day could save up to as many as 7,000 lives. And speeding up a vaccine by 3 months could save as many as 500,000. So here's to those heroes wanting to stand up to help get a vaccine for this thing early. It's amazing. So amazing. Those are your Wellisms of the week, guys. Look at all that positive news. See, there's so much good in our world, regardless of what we are going through. You can always find positivity. All right, a song I promised. A lot of you requested this last week. This is not a song I play live a lot. So I thought I'd bring it out today. Let's see. It's probably pretty loud. Okay, so this is from all of your guys' requests. I never play this song, so here we go. silence and breathing, that's all I hear these days. The ceiling fan spinning, rumors beginning, that's all I hear these days. 'Cause your memory is hotter than the static. My head on your heart was such a habit. Going crazy now that I don't have it. I don't have it. Another headache from a loud crowd Friday. Another lover throwing gravel in the driveway. Another love song driving down the highway. It's just white noise. It's just white noise. Another wake to the TV on sunrise. Another breakup with the echo of your goodbye. It's just white noise. It's just white noise. 'Cause I miss you, boy. So it's just white noise. Bartender, last drink, taxi on South Street. That's all I hear these days. Friends calling, friends, baby, all in love and crazy. That's all I hear these days. 'Cause your memory is hotter than the static. My head on your heart was such a habit. I'm going crazy now that I can't have it. I can't have it. Another headache from a loud crowd Friday. Another lover throwing gravel in the driveway. Another love song driving down the highway. But it's just white noise. It's just white noise. Another wake up to the TV on sunrise. Another breakup with the echo of your goodbye. But it's just white noise. It's just white noise. 'Cause I miss you, boy. 'Cause I miss you, noise. Anything other than your voice. Anything other than your voice. Anything other than your voice. It's just white noise. Oh, anything other than your voice. Anything other than your voice. Anything other than your voice. It's just white noise. Another headache from a loud crowd Friday. Another lover throwing gravel in the driveway. Another love song driving down the highway. But it's just white noise. It's just white noise. Another breakup with the echo of your goodbye. Another wake up to the TV on somebody. It's just white noise. It's just white noise. 'Cause I miss you, boy. So it's just white noise. It's just white noise, yeah. right, that's a song called White Noise. It was from my last record, The Project. You guys requested that so much last week, so I thought I would play it for you tonight. Thank you guys for tuning into episode 6 of Living Well. I'm so excited. We had such cool guests. We will have another episode next week. And then I'm considering maybe moving this off live, maybe moving it on to either IGTV or YouTube, but I'll keep you guys updated. But next week we will be here Tuesday at 7 p.m. like usual. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. I hope your quarantines are going well. I love you. We'll see you next week. Bye, guys.